echoes. Free will. It's whispers. Free will. It's sound. Free will. Everywhere. But has this great word, free will, now been in great questions in the very essence of all lives? As we begin to shift into this new age of the Aquarian age, as all of our free will now been something that has been kind of diminished in its very essence of what it resounds in expressing or entire. So free will, in its very definition in this status quo socioeconomic world, is truly acting without any sort of constraint of necessity or faith. The ability to just go forth and act freely. So as you begin to reflect on its very definition, you begin to ask yourself, wow, do I truly have free will in my current stage of my life? Now you may see that yes, to a certain extent, free will is truly innately something that you have to fully express, as it was a gift from the dynamic, co-creative source presence that gifted us with this very presence of life itself. But as we begin to shift these structures of this status quo socio-economic world, do we begin to see the very essence of this free will gift that was gifted to us from a creative source being diminished? Now you may look at great examples in order to stepping into certain places, be it, restaurants, gyms, you have to take a flight. You must take a certain test in order to be able to even be in that certain space of that vicinity. Now you begin to ask, is that an expression of your free will being diminished? You begin to see that, wow, there is such a thing right now, even with our own mental bodies, where the status quo overseers has begun to use a state of telepathic signals, which has been going on for many, many, many eons and ages, to kind of sort of diminish our free will by sending confusing messages that is not for our highest good. We begin to see examples of just like making certain decisions of where we want to be, the path we want to take. Be it that, let's say, even in your own family sometimes. Let's say you grew up always wanting to be an artist, a musician, but your family, they feel like, no, not only is it in the family, but this is not a reliable source of income. So they subject you to wanting to go back down the path of being a doctor, a lawyer, the status quo jobs. And as we begin to shift during this new age, we begin to see that, wow, we have been living in the ages of time where we're sort of given away all free will. The very essence of just school way of living, in the socio-economic world and a structured schedule, doing mundane jobs that, it's only just living this pattern of programming and conditioning to just do something for the benefit of maybe a few. To be conditioned to be like, wow, you may not get to freely express yourself with the great flow rhythms of what brings you the greatest excitement in your life. So as we begin to see that now as we shift this very pivotal stage in our life, free will is something that begins to come up. Free will is something that begins to come up when you see, wow, in order to just live, truly, purposefully here during this time, certain limiting actions presides around all of our lives. For example, as I used the example earlier, you may begin to see that there are a lot of, groups and, as I would call it, the structural organizations who feel like they are here to oversee us all. And they may want you to be part of the culture, the group, the association, to kind of stay in a limited sense, think like me, be like me, act like me, do such low vibrational actions, and just stay a part of this 3D world, to be taken into what is considered the underworld. We begin to see, that many are going through great changes, as they're being rebirthed, going through their dark night of the soul, and not still in soul searching stage where they don't truly know who they truly are. Many are going through devastating times of great loss, as I expressed before, the financial industry. We begin to see the losses that being through job, money, homes, you name it, family being broken apart, health being deteriorated. And we begin to see that many have, had mental challenges, emotional challenges. And so we begin to see the upsurge of many addictions and just, maybe crime and, this great orchestration of war going on, when this is the most innate, wonderful time to begin to bring harmony within us and all around us, as Venus has now again risen in the sky. But when we begin to talk about the question of free will, we begin to see that, wow, freedom, will is something that we only innately have. But have we become too dependent on this socio-economic world to just go and be conditioned in the everyday way of living? Because we have sort of like put forth so much value on the material aspects of our lives that we forgot, man, the great flow of abundance is truly within us. And so as we have to begin to tap within us to connect deeply within our emotional flow, our mental flow, and then finally the physical flow. Free will truly is in depth within us, but we have to now say, like, the decisions that we make should now reflect the very essence of why we were born here. the very essence of co-creating this new dynamic earth as we go through this shift. And so I know it may look like everything is crumbling apart. Certain things are taken away from you. And in order for you to even feel like you have the essence of living life in what you consider your fullest in the 3D world, you have to continue to leech on to the only material aspects of this world and not truly flow with who you are in the depths of your core. Now your free will is truly in question because you have let go of certain parts of yourself, not fully considering the great harmony that truly resides within you. You see, your spiritual essence and nature is pulling you forth into this new rebirth of life to truly treasure the dynamic love frequency that resides within you. And when you begin to co-create from your one spirit, your one heart, the depths of your core and your mighty soul, you begin to see that your free will is always intact. It is up to you to grab onto it and not just let it freely flow away to the overseers of this status quo world. You begin to see that truly your free will always remain within you once you stand powerful and expressing yourself in your wholesomeness and not giving away your free will to any overseers or entities that want to captivate the very essence of who you are. You see, in order for us to co-create and restructure our material world as it's now all falling apart, as I've pretty much stated, you know, money, which is our exchange, and we know that money is sort of like a high frequency of energy. And as we begin to co-create from within, we have to truly see we have the greatest source of life force energy that we can truly begin to co-create our material world from within, stepping into a dynamic love frequency and a blissful nature, bringing forth that dynamic inner child and merging with all of the parts of our divine feminine and masculine, presenting this unconditional love presence in its wholeness. Now, free will. We see that it is kind of sort of being re-gifted to us, but we have to see it freely coming forth from within, not wanting to look for it on the outside. Because we are now in a great time, a great shift, where we are restructuring the entire structure of our socio-economic world. And we cannot continue to leech on to what's falling apart. So I ask you to not freely give your free will away and continue to stand firm in your power in co-creating from within, and knowing that this great material shift that we're going through, as much as it's being broken down, you play a part in actually restructuring this entire electromagnetic field of all of the material resources that resides around us as you continue to co-create with your gifts, your wondrous, wholesome self What is it that you're here to share? Reflect on that and say, your free will can never be taken away from you when you truly reflect your wholesome oneness presence that's always living and breathing. So I ask you, fully merge and see that the sounds of free will continue to reside within you as long as you know who you are and you continue to co-create from within. No one can take you away from you, as it's the most powerful treasure in your life. So much love, so much bliss, so much peace and harmony and be to each and every one of you as you continue to reflect on what free will means to you and to hold on to it firmly and strongly to continue to co-create the most beautiful creative story of your life as we go through this great golden